Turkish Airlines presents Business Africa.
Hello and a warm welcome. This is Business Africa. I am Ruth Lago. These are the headlines. In the DRC, Vodacom is entering the mining sector, with the telecoms giant offering innovative solutions to improve mining operations. In Sierra Leone, the president-elect will have the onerous task of turning around an economy that has already been strangled by civil war, Ebola, COVID, and more recently the crisis in Ukraine. Last but not least, in Tanzania, agriculture is set to contribute 50% of GDP in the coming years. The country is banking on restructuring the sector with the introduction of compulsory export licenses to improve results. From the exploration of future deposits to the processing and extraction of minerals, all mining operations can now benefit from a host of technological innovations. In the DRC, Vodacom, the largest provider of mobile phone services, with a 34% market share and 40% for M-Pesa, which claims over 21 million subscribers in the country, offered its innovative technological solutions during the 8th edition of Mining Week in Lubumbashi, southeastern DRC.
In the DRC, the mining company Glencore is introducing Umoja, a technical solution developed by the Vodacom group that enables on-site entities to be tracked and informed in real time. This saves time and optimizes both surface and underground operations. What's more, the availability of high-speed Wi-Fi, satellite alternatives and M-Pesa solutions for mining companies will, according to the telecoms company, help strengthen a sector that is vital to the DRC's economy. Indeed, the mining sector contributes over 20% of the GDP, and more than a third of the government revenue comes from this sector. Vodacom presented these technological innovations for the mines at the 8th DRC Mining Week in Lubumbashi on June 16. Since 2002, the year of its establishment in the DRC, the company has invested over $2 billion in various fields. And this year, it plans to disburse $100 million to support the DRC's economic development.
I am here with the Deputy Managing Director of Vodacom Congo, Ms. Pamela Ilunga. Welcome to Business Africa. Tell us, what innovative solutions is the Vodacom Group offering mining companies in the DRC?
We launched a product called Umoja with the DRC's current biggest mine, the Glencore Group, in partnership with Standard Bank. It's an ESS system which stands for Employee Self-Service and allows employees to get messages no matter where they are in the mine. Because if you're in a mine, you see the distances involved in getting everyone together in the morning in the same place. What we've managed to do is send people messages on their phones. And everyone has access every day to updates on new mine safety instructions, information of interest to them, even pay slips. And so it saves them 1 or 2 hours every day instead of getting everyone together in person. That's the Umoja product. The second product is, for example, M-Pesa. We advocate financial inclusion because, of course, we go to the most remote corners where traditional banks can't reach, and it's these places which the mines will exploit.
Why is it important for companies like yours to participate in the economic development of the DRC?
I think it's important, and I think a lot of companies have CSR programs, and today that's a big word. But I have to mention the Vodacom Foundation, which was launched as long ago as 2002, before CSR became the new buzzword. After all, we're working in a country, we're investing in a country, and it goes without saying that we have to contribute to this economy and the economy of the smallest, the most disadvantaged. Connecting people, sending children back to school, education, 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 health, 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 to be able to develop this world of tomorrow. We have a responsibility as a Congolese company under Congolese law, with Congolese people who make up 98% of the employees of this company, to leave a legacy of something good.
Ms. Ilunga, could you elaborate further on the difficulties you face as a company?
If we're talking about challenges, I would mention the energy challenge. We're in a country with a fairly large energy deficit. A telecommunications antenna, as you know, has to be powered 24 hours a day, And so when I'm calculating how to set up an antenna, I have to factor in a generator, batteries, 1 or 2 groups because they have to be in relay, and so on. So that's just one difficulty. But it's also the reality and the beauty of working here, because every country has its own difficulties, and you have to adapt to the realities in order to move forward.
Vodacom has been operating in the DRC since 2022. What would you say are your goals for the next 10 years?
Our goals as a company are always to connect the unconnected. Africa Connected is part of our global vision for the group. Our vision in the DRC is to ensure that Africa is connected, because today, in 2023, we need to get as many people as possible connected. We've lived through 2 years of COVID where distance learning was difficult. We had Vodacom, a project which enabled lots of students to stay connected to school and education, even in the most remote corners. Today, we're making it possible for pupils in Kalehe, which, as you know, is a part of the country that recently suffered from flooding, to take their state exams because they've had time to prepare on our Vodacom platform. And so for us, it's always this vision of how we can give and give back and reconnect people.
Thank you for being with us today, Ms. Ilunga.
Thank you very much.
Hard hit by COVID-19 than the war in Ukraine, Sierra Leone was already struggling to recover from a bloody civil war from 1991 to 2002, and then the Ebola epidemic from 2014 to 2016. Inflation and exasperation with the government led to riots in August 2022 that killed 27 civilians and 6 police officers. The president-elect will have to overcome some crucial challenges. In Sierra Leone, almost 60% of the population is facing poverty in a context of unprecedented inflation. Prices of basic products such as rice and flour have soared. Nata Bengura runs a shop in the Crewtown Road Market in Freetown.
We're having a hard time because prices vary from shop to shop. We used to buy a bag of rice for 250 leones, but now it's 650 leones. So we have to compare prices to make ends meet. The shop owners tell us that the US dollar exchange rate is high.
In March, inflation stood at 41.5% year-on-year, with a fall to 20.8% expected in 2024 if external shocks such as the war in Ukraine subside. Economist Mohamed Justice Ganawa believes that investments should be made in financial education and in improving the standards required in the financial system.
So one of the possible things that we could do to change the narratives around our country economy is by investing in the manufacturing and technology. You know, as a country, you cannot be thinking of development if your productivity level is low. We should think of having a way of swapping our currency for currencies with nations that we are importing from.
In the meantime, the country is facing another challenge, youth unemployment, one of the highest in West Africa. Analysts expect economic growth to stagnate for several months. Tanzania has embarked on a metamorphosis of its agricultural sector, which is crucial to its economy, by controlling exports. 500 trucks carrying cereals were recently blocked at the border between Namanga and Kenya. The agricultural policy should ultimately support self-sufficiency and generate huge profits. However, some associations, particularly in neighboring countries, fear that prices will soar.
The Tanzanian government says it has begun taking steps to formalize trade within its agricultural sector. In addition to requiring export permits, local and foreign traders now need to have business licenses and taxpayer identification numbers.
We have restricted the sale of products outside the country because our crops have been going out there and we don't have data. We don't see it helping our export business in that at the end of the day, it does not benefit the country's balance of payments, especially from the trade done in the region.
The government is not just regulating how crops are traded, but also how much can be sold outside the country.
We want our country to have some 500,000 tons of food in storage for this year. and we are going to store this food in our own storage facilities. I've given the Agricultural Minister and Finance Minister the green light to begin food purchases. So I want to urge farmers in the country not to export crops outside the country.
Many of the country's farmers welcome the changes, but say the move is hurting their businesses.
We used to buy a kilo of maize for 29 US cents, but after the president's statement, 1 kilogram fetches just 17 cents. This is a huge difference. Those that were keeping the price hovering at around 29 cents were local and foreign businessmen.
In response to critics, the Ministry of Agriculture insists that it hasn't banned the export of agricultural crops, but just wants to formalize trade in produce. It says the long-term benefits of the move far outweigh any short-term challenges traders may experience.
That's our show for today. Thank you for watching Business Africa. For more business news, stay tuned to Africa News and Africanews.com.
Business Africa was presented by Turkish Airlines.